What if the most dangerous man in the kingdom wasn't the crazed cult leader he was hunting, but the hunter himself? You might know the name Ashley Riot, an elite agent called a Riskbreaker, tasked with tracking down the mysterious cult Sydney Losstarot. But the official story is just the tip of the iceberg. Deep within the cursed, abandoned city of Lea Monde, a truth is buried that won't just shatter Ashley's world, it will redefine power itself. This is the story of how a simple manhunt for a cult leader spiraled into something much, much darker. But first, a quick shout out to you guys. You picked this one. 70% of my recent poll voted for Vagrant Story. I never would have guessed it. Thanks so much for pushing this up the queue. So let's dive right on in. The story kicks off in the kingdom of Valendia, a nation still healing from a bitter civil war. In this tense political climate, some agents operate in the shadows to keep the peace. They are the Valendia Knights of the Peace, or VKP, and their most ruthless operative is Ashley Riot. He's a risk-breaker, the guy they send in when the mission is impossible and everyone else would fail. On the surface, Ashley is the perfect weapon, cold, efficient, and fueled by a tragic past. Visions of his wife and son, killed by criminals, drive his every action. He's a man with nothing to lose, and the mission is all that he has left. And that mission seems pretty straightforward. After a raid on Duke Bardorba's manor, where Sydney's group kidnaps the Duke's son, Joshua, Ashley is sent in to recover the boy and neutralize Sydney Losstarot. You see, to the world, Sydney is a heretic, a charismatic prophet with a strange, supernatural hold over his followers. Rumors swirl that the Duke and Sydney were entangled in a secret arrangement, so when Sydney strikes the manor, nobody knows if it's blackmail or partnership gone bad. It starts the classic agent versus terrorist story. Ashley, the agent of order, is sent in to stop Sydney, the agent of chaos. Now, the hunt begins as the manor burns, and Ashley follows Sydney's trail into the darkness. I know I have my read on this story, but I genuinely want yours. If you think I missed something, tell me why in the comments. Don't just agree. Ashley's pursuit leads him out of the world he knows and straight into the mouth of madness, the abandoned city of Lea Monde. A catastrophic earthquake hit the city 25 years ago, killing most of its people and leaving it a haunted, cursed ruin. Now, it's a place where the dead don't sleep, and the very air hums with an ancient dark energy. Lea Monde isn't just a backdrop, it's a character in its own right. A maze of forgotten wine cellars, crumbling temples, and shadowy cathedrals, all dripping with sinister power. What started as a manhunt quickly devolves. Ashley realizes he's not just in a dead city, he's in a place where reality itself is fragile. And he's not alone. The church's militant arm, the Crimson Blades, led by Romeo Guildenstern, has also stormed Lea Monde to seize the same prize. Meanwhile, the VKP represents the state. It's church versus state by proxy, each reaching for the city's forbidden power. Ashley is caught between the cult he's hunting, a ruthless holy order, and the city's own monstrous residents. His mission is no longer about capture, it's about survival. He's walking into a place that holds the key to a secret the most powerful people in Valendia would kill to keep buried. Alright, inside the suffocating darkness of Lea Monde, the lines between good and evil start to blur almost instantly. Sydney is no ordinary cultist. He wields powers that shouldn't even be possible, summoning demons and warping reality with terrifying ease. He doesn't beg the darkness for power, he demands it, carving ancient symbols into stone and reminding old evils of the contracts that bind them. How could one man hold such sway over the dark? What was Mullenkamp really doing here? Things get even more stranger when Sydney starts messing with Ashley's head. taunting him with visions of his murdered family. He picks at Ashley's trauma, the same pain the VKP weaponized to keep him loyal. Then Rosencrantz shows up, a former VKP agent who knows exactly how Ashley thinks. He feeds him conflicting stories and plants seeds of doubt. He suggests Ashley's memories aren't real, that they were crafted in order to keep him obedient. Was he a grieving hero, or a brainwashed killer? The deeper he descends, the more he realizes his mission, his past, and his identity might all be lies. So everything we thought we knew has been turned on its head. If you love digging into games' darkest lore and untangling complex stories like this, consider subscribing to the channel. We get lost in forgotten narratives all the time, and you help us keep searching for the truth. Now, let's uncover the terrible secret at the heart of it all. The terrible secret isn't a what, it's a why. It centers on the blood sin, a living brand that ties its bearer to the dark beneath Lea Monde, granting terrifying command over it. The blood sin is inherited, passed from one bearer to the next. Whoever carries it becomes both weapon and target. Here's the rot at the core. Duke Bardorba isn't a helpless noble in a kidnapping. He's been entangled with Lea Monde's forbidden power for years, secretly using Mullenkamp to study and exploit it. Under Sydney, the cult becomes a front for research and influence, bankrolled and manipulated by the Duke. But that power is killing its masters. The Duke is dying, and the succession can't wait. The raid on the manor, the kidnapping of Joshua, the push into Lea Monde, none of it was random. It was a controlled crisis to force a transfer, to find a successor strong enough to not be corrupted. Sydney isn't a villain hungry for power. He's a man bearing a curse, trying to fix his father's mistake, and to give that burden to someone worthy. Once you know that, everything changes. The church and state rivalry fades. This is a personal war now. Guildenstern reveals his true ambition, to take the blood sin for himself, to become immortal. Sydney sees potential in Ashley, not because he wants power, but because he doesn't. Ashley is driven by guilt and the need to do right, no matter who he used to be. Sydney tests him, forges him into someone who can resist the dark's temptation. The hunt has become a trial. The future of Valandia's darkest secret hangs in the balance. Sydney says power chooses the person, not the other way around. Do you guys buy that? Or is that how power excuses itself? The climax isn't good versus evil. It's ambition against control. In the Great Cathedral, Guildenstern attempts the unthinkable, carving the blood sin from Sydney to claim godhood. He transforms into something inhuman. Ashley fights and defeats him. The blood sin's power passes to Ashley Riot. The church's bid is crushed. The city's dark falls silent for now. One final act remains. Sydney, broken but alive, visits Duke Bardorba. The Duke is dying and knows the truth can't escape. In a quiet moment, Sydney hands him a dagger and does what has to be done. The Duke's death is staged. Ashley is framed as his assassin. The state gets its scapegoat. The church loses its god. Sydney disappears from history. Ashley Riot walks out of Lea Monde a changed man. He's no longer a risk-breaker. The hunt was a setup. The cult was a front. The villain was a caretaker of a burden no one should bear. Now, Ashley carries the blood sin and the truth behind power. Branded the Duke's assassin, he abandons his old life and vanishes as a vagrant. Alright, I just want to give a huge thanks to everyone once again who voted in my recent poll. He went into Lea Monde a tool of the state, a man defined by a past that wasn't even his. He left a wanderer carrying immense power and a terrible truth. So, I'll leave you with this question. Did Ashley Riot find redemption in those runes? Or did he just trade one prison for another?